A boy in a uniform. The townsfolk still remembered the boy who used to run barefoot across the muddy rice paddies of Zamboanga del Sur. His laughter would echo through the fields, his shoulders burdened only by the woven basket his mother asked him to carry. That boy's world was simple: the scent of freshly cut grass, the songs of cicadas at dusk, and the dream of one day lifting his family out of poverty. His name was Miguel Santos. At 17, Miguel had to grow up faster than most. His father had died from illness, leaving behind a widow and 3 children who looked to him as their new pillar. It was around this time that Miguel saw a group of men in pressed uniforms, boots shining like mirrors, rifles slung with pride. They were soldiers of the armed forces of the Philippines, passing through their town after an operation. Miguel, with his skinny frame and calloused hands, looked at them the way a boy might look at heroes carved in stone. "They look strong," he whispered to his mother. His mother only sighed, brushing his cheek. "Strength isn't free, Anak, it's paid for." Miguel carried her words with him, but so too did he carry that vision of men who seemed larger than life. At 19, he stood before the gates of a military training camp, his heart pounding as he signed his name on the enlistment papers. He was no longer the barefoot boy from the paddies. He was a boy in a uniform. Training broke him down. His hands blistered, his back ached, his body screamed against every order barked at him. But somewhere in the fire of exhaustion, Miguel found steel. He learned to stand straighter, march longer, and shoot truer. By the time he graduated from basic training, his once thin frame had hardened into that of a soldier. But the uniform was more than fabric and brass. It was weight, a burden of duty, of loyalty, of sacrifice. Soon, Miguel was sent to Mindanao, to a province scarred by insurgency. The fields here were not the golden paddies of his youth, but jungles thick with shadows and villages haunted by fear. He and his comrades patrolled roads riddled with landmines, guarded schools threatened by armed groups, and sometimes carried the lifeless bodies of fellow soldiers draped in the very same flag they swore to protect. One night, while stationed in a remote barangay, Miguel saw a boy not much younger than he once was, barefoot, thin, eyes wide with hunger. The boy stared at Miguel's rifle and his uniform. In that gaze, Miguel saw himself, a child who once looked at soldiers with awe, not yet understanding the price of their valor. Miguel handed the boy a piece of bread from his pack. The boy ate, his tears falling faster than his words of thanks. That night, Miguel wrote in his notebook, "I was a boy in a uniform, but today I became a man who carries the hopes of children like him." Months passed and battles blurred into each other. Gunfire replaced cicadas, the smell of smoke replaced freshly cut grass. Yet Miguel endured. He fought not for glory, but for the families who deserved to wake without fear, for the children who deserved schools instead of war zones. But fate, cruel as it often is, caught up with him one fateful dawn. His unit was ambushed along a narrow road. The air exploded with bullets and smoke. Miguel fought fiercely, shielding his comrades, his hands steady even as fear clawed at his chest. A grenade landed near their position. Without hesitation, Miguel pushed 2 of his fellow soldiers behind cover and threw himself forward. The blast silenced the world. When his body was brought home, the town gathered in mourning. His mother wept, clutching the flag folded neatly in her hands. His siblings stood in silence, their eyes fixed on the coffin that carried the boy who once ran barefoot across the paddies. But Miguel was no longer just that boy. He was a soldier, a son of the Philippines who traded his youth for peace, his laughter for the nation's tomorrow. As the rifles fired their final salute and the bugle played, the people of the town whispered his name with reverence. Miguel Santos. A boy in a uniform. A man in history.